to Etcetera with the Wolves for the evening. Senior and my co-host Dion with me tonight as well. This is episode 35 and we're having a little bit of technical difficulty on the Facebook right here. If you hear any type of any echoing, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what we got going on. I'm gonna pass it over to you, county council, and man, a lot. Before I want you to talk. I want you to talk about for your for your appointment to Erie Housing, job responsibility that you have, and just your thoughts about that. Okay.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, thank you for having me. As always, it's always appreciated. But yeah, as far as like the housing authority, it was just like at this point, the way I'm looking at it, to not, I haven't been to any meetings or anything. Like the county executive, Brent Davis, had reached out to me. Well, somebody from his camp had reached out to me and said there's a possibility for an opportunity to serve on Erie Housing Authority, Erie County, for the board of directors. And he's like, you got some history in real estate, or you have some experience in real estate. We feel like you'd be a perfect fit for it. I really wasn't sure like what it was about, what it was for. So I'm like, well, let me look into it, see what it is. So I asked him to send me the bylaws and all of that as far as the information, because it's very vague in there. So as I read through it, like the bylaws and stuff seemed very generic, vague, and it seemed like it's room for opportunity. So, I read it, reviewed it, seeing some of how it has more of an impact on the county as a whole. And then as
Mm-hmm.
far as like
Mm-hmm.
how like being invited to, like, a lot of people, I feel like from what I've learned, sometimes it's about like getting into the rooms, you know what I mean, to understand information and then be able to offer people who are available for those opportunities that present themselves, if they do, or being an ear to different things. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more or less looking at like a opportunity for me to learn and to grow in this space that has an impact as a whole on Erie County. So it really wasn't nothing like, oh, okay, now you can do this or make decisions such as that. And it's not really like anything crazy to go deep into details with, because as far as like understanding and knowing, it's fairly new
Right.
to me. All I did was read the information that was sent to me, review the organization, as far as like understanding who does what and what happens behind that, before I can even speak to be like, okay, now that this appointment came, this is what can happen. It was more or less just like, hey, here's an opportunity for you. Guys say they want to see different things happen and different things change. I'm not really sure if, how, or
Right.
what, but I've had different conversations to where it's like, here's an opportunity if you see fit to go for it. And I talked it over, with my mentors and my friends and all of that. So this wasn't even for the sake of like, oh wow, boom, here's a carrot, I'm jumping at it or running at it. It was like, listen, man, you strike while the iron is hot, and like, why not now? And if not you, then who? Type of thing. All the stuff you've been saying and all of that. So it was more or less like, yeah, I'm willing to take a chance at the opportunity, willing to look, research, do the homework on the assignment, understand what impact it can have, and what doors can be open, or what doors need to be closed, and all of that. Like it's just an opportunity for us, I guess. Not that really
Yeah.
that big of a deal as
And,
far as
and
like,
you're gonna do a fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And you're gonna do a fantastic job, as we all know how you get down at the opportunity. I'm glad to it. And speaking of that, the same night, housing a good night a good night to hear a few things. How you guys all came across. Our team has been going to every Erie County council meeting. We've had boots around pro, and we will not stop. People think to stop, but we are not going to stop. And there were some fireworks, and you had some really good things. Erie County Erie County Council. by we all saw the video from the September finance. Just back. Talk about what would and discussed at the 18th finance and your remarks last night.
So all right, so the finance meeting, like when it came to that finance meeting, I didn't watch the whole thing or see the whole thing through, but somebody had reached out to me like, "Hey, did you watch the finance meeting?" They kind of spoke to, yo. I'm like, "No, I didn't watch. I really didn't pay that attention, no any attention to that." So my friend like, "Yo, you should probably watch it. It
Right.
start at this time, start at 21 minutes or whatever the case." So I get in 21 minutes, and then that's when, from what I recorded, what played through. So as I'm listening to this, I'm hearing a different thing than what I'm seeing on social media. So I recorded it and I shared the video because I've seen different people saying, "Oh, they spoke about us, or they're going to make a resolution for us, or it's going to be something for us." So I'm like, "All right, let me take this in." You know what I'm saying? So I listened to this, John. I posted it. "Hey, what did you guys hear? Let me know what was going on. What are you taking from this conversation?" And I said, pay attention to the questions that the solicitor asked, because he asked those questions for a reason. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I said that is because no matter
Right.
what, he has to act in the best interest of the council as a whole, not about
Right.
their individual
Right.
opinions,
Right.
and not about their feelings, not about their thoughts. As a whole, he's the person that's going to make sure that the legal, So when he was drilling them with them, like so they sitting there at the finance meeting, and then another thing, like so when as before he started reading it, he was like, "I know this is out of order," and Andre said, "And I'm gonna ask that we proceed." So they let them get out of order at this finance
Mm.
meeting to read the resolution that they were proposing. So as they read and I got the notes I took next to me, because like I'm
Yeah.
listening to him, and he stopped him like, "What is that?" He let him go. This was the thing. He did it so politely too. He didn't cut him off, not any time. He allowed him to speak every single
Right.
time he asked him a question. And then even when they answered him, he's like, "Wait,
Mm-hmm.
wait, I hear that. I don't think you're understanding me." He asked him like, "What is that?" He was like, "Who put this together?" So then Rock, I did it. Andre said he asked him to do it. So he was like, "Well, what is that saying?" Like he was like, so they was like, "Well, pretty much what they want us to do is come up with some resolution. So we saying we stand with justice, and we feel their pain, and we're affirming how we're
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging that a tragedy did happen." You know what I mean? And Dre said, "I thought about this like a week and a half ago, and they just so happened to send a resolution to me." So pretty much what this is declaring that, yeah, we feel like we understand where they come. So he said, it doesn't sound like that's what the statement is saying. So they like, "Whoa, but
Right. Right. Right.
you ain't getting it." He was like, "I'm trying." He said, "I like to understand it, and I don't hear it saying anything." So they was like, "Right." So they've been coming in here throwing fastballs at us. They've been coming down here to these meetings and, talking and all of that. So we can at least negotiate with them. They asked for this. We ain't giving them that. And I just want to break it down into how I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
But what they weren't saying
Mm-hmm.
how I'm saying it. Pretty much like we're gonna do like an interpreter type of Joan to it. I don't know how to word this to not make it unpolitically correct conversation, right? Is what took place at that finance meeting for that little period that we watched. So so then he like, well, they saying they want this. We told them, yeah, reform. We can look and see how much body cameras cost, but we ain't really getting body cameras. And they ask for these things, and we can just say we're gonna use Marcello name on the top of the paper. This is what it was like. His name gonna be on the top of the paper to be the
Right.
catalyst for the
Yep.
rest of the paper. We letting them know we want justice. We seek justice.
Yes.
Our job is policy. Our job is budget. So pretty much we don't handle any of that. They know that we don't handle that, but they keep coming here. So we gotta give them something. At this point, this is the least amount that we can get them that they ask for. So I'm hearing if we give them that, they're gonna go away. So he like, I like to understand that, but I don't hear it saying anything of that. He was like, is that letter criticizing the system for
Right.
its delay? That it's all in a vacuum. And then he even asked him like, why are you saying it? He said, what are you saying it for? And they like,
Right.
well, we believe that courthouse, blind justice, all that. He was like, so then he said, if you implying that, what he said, if you implying delayed justice is justice denied, you should just say that. Like he
Justice
pretty much
denied.
telling him like,
Yeah.
yo, whatever it is
Yeah.
that y'all trying to dress up in this, this is what this counties. These ain't my word. Well, these are my words, but these are his politically correct questions. And me kind of like when they did the Obama and the
Right.
Luther Joan or whatever Key and Pill, right? So like he like,
Yeah.
I don't see where
Yeah.
this statement touches anything close to this young man. He said, are you writing this to promote justice? There's nothing in that resolution that talks about the situation. You know what I mean? So they sitting there now like, well, and this one it got crazy, right? Well, where the resolution that they sent? Do
Mm-hmm.
anybody got it? Because they said this, and at least we ain't saying that. Like he like, what are you talking about? Like, because now they're making it seem like we got some type of power and authority for the resolution that came and was asked. Well, at least we did. Now they like, at least we did better than them. So now the other people like, well, we didn't see none of that. So now Rock and well, they like, oh, well, they only sent it to us and him and that person. They like, well, yeah, let us. They like, well, we can have the other lady go print it off. So now at
Yep.
this meeting, bro, you just see us complete chaos in the finance
Yeah.
meeting, right?
Yeah.
So he like, I don't know. He said, I don't see how I can advise on this without knowing what this letter is saying because it's clearly not saying anything. And then he also said, and this is like, he said, we're different. We have to watch what we say because people are going to take our words differently than other people. Mind you, this is the solicitor. These are type of conversations maybe they have in the back when that many people aren't present or at least the cameras aren't on. So he's advising them in the room like, hey, you don't want this to go on the agenda because if it goes on the agenda, then it's a possibility that some no's might come. So they like, so this was
Right.
the trick right here that I've seen that I did not like. Because then it's like, okay, well, I don't think anybody in here disagree to justice. Anybody disagree? So now it's like, hold on. Because regardless of if they agree or they disagree, what you did was you put all your colleagues on the hot spot to try to agree with this agenda that you tried to push to appease people because you figured if you put this little bit of stuff in the resolution that it would be okay. You understand what I'm saying? So this was my breakdown to it, and this is why I want to explain it like this because I want everybody else to understand what I listened to and then what I came back and took notes on and broke
Yeah.
down. You know what I mean? And what I could only regurgitate
Yeah.
in 3 minutes that they allowed me to do so. You know what I mean? So then it's like, so going back to what they're like, well, bring out their resolution. They were using words such as whereas, therefore. So then Rock like, well, we can just reword theirs. And then the district attorney like, yo, not the district attorney, excuse me, the solicitor's like, but for what though? He said, like, I personally sympathize with the family and the gentleman too. He said, if you look at the facts without knowing more, it looks like he's the probation officer guilty, but I don't know that. He said that himself. Then he said, like,
Right.
we cannot make a statement for this side because then we would have to make a statement for this side. We all agreed at the beginning
Yep.
we weren't going to touch this one, and hence why. And then remember, they sent that first letter out. It came from him. So in the beginning,
Right.
they all agreed we're going
Right.
to leave this one alone. Like now, all of a sudden, y'all want to send a letter out. Who are y'all sending it to? What are y'all sending it for? What does this letter actually say? And they in there like, well, read theirs too. So then at this point, you see the lady go run up to she going to print them off, but he asking them these questions. And in all actuality, he wasn't being like people like, oh, he shouldn't have been asking them questions. He was tripping. No, 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 no. He was asking them questions because he's the advisor. So then that's what I was saying. When they put everybody else on the spot, now it's kind of like make them people say no. So then now we got somebody to point at, and we can start to split the people here. So I don't blame him for doing any of that, and then people not willing to be able to vote right there on that spot because if they would have voted right on that spot, it would have been public record. And the solicitor like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, no, no,
Right.
no. This is a bad idea. We should have this conversation another time, another place, not in this room, pretty much, hint, hint, wink, wink, cameras are on. This is a public meeting. I myself have not read this. I cannot advise you to that. Do not do that. So, as a solicitor, he was doing his job, but they tried to pull a move. But then, if you go all the way back to what he said, why are you saying it? What are you saying it for?
Yes.
He was like, I don't see where this statement touches anything
Right.
close to this young man. He also said, because he said Cello name, hold on. He said, why would you make a statement about Marcello that isn't about March? Those were his words. I got it written in quotes. Why would you make a statement about Marcello that isn't about Marcello? That is what I'm trying to understand. And it was like, well, we just being vague because, you know, the negotiation, this is Andre said, the negotiation has to start, or he was like, you don't got to give nobody anything. Nobody gets everything in negotiations. This is the lowest bar that they, and then Rock even agreed, like, yeah, we just figured this was a low bar thing. He was like, we're not saying that we agree with any of them. We're not saying we agree with the other side. We're not saying lock them up. So they even was saying, like, we ain't even saying we got they back. That's what they were saying politically. We not telling them we got they back.
Right.
We not saying publicly justice for Cello. We not saying we're going to meet them anywhere or do anything. All we're saying is at the top of this page, Marcello Woodard was killed on this day by his parole officer. The rest of the page says, we work in the courthouse because we believe in justice. We believe in patience. We want y'all to be patient. We understand that y'all crying. We see why y'all crying. We hear that y'all crying. We ain't got nothing to do with it. We do budget and policy. Praise God, and hopefully y'all get the justice y'all seek. We gonna find out when justice happens. When justice happens, thank y'all. Have a good night. Go home. Please stop coming down here and talking to us about it because it ain't our business. It ain't our problem. That was my interpretation of what was said at that finance meeting. So it was like, how do you mash up? And I got more, but it's like, how do you mash up all of that into 3 minutes to be able to let people know that this is what you heard? You know, talk. The best thing about it though is to be able to say these things and be able to quote the solicitor, and he's sitting right here. And he never, if you watch the video, he never gave me.
Yes, not once. So let me ask this. So, number one, the solicitor said he called him Marcello 3 times, and that upset me. And I know you have it written down because you wrote it during your remarks last night. The solicitor was saying something to the fact of he gives his condolences to the family. He feels for this guy. He was talking about Marcello, and then he said, if you ask me, based on what we see, the parole officer is guilty, but I don't know. Didn't he say something to that effect?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, hold on. He said, I personally sympathize with the family and the gentleman too. If you look at it, he said, if you look at the facts without knowing more, it looks like the probation officer is guilty. I don't know that. You know what I mean? So that was what a statement that he made about the situation. But so he's letting them know, like, listen.
Yeah. So
we all got opinions. So that's what I was saying, like, going fast forward to the meeting, like, we don't want all of them to speak as one body because they can get themselves in the jam. So if they can host meetings or come and speak to us as individuals to where the meeting doesn't go in a quorum, then they can say things like he said. So then we at least know and understand at least where they're coming from. Because he said, I feel sympathy for the family and the gentleman too. So we can only imagine who the gentleman is because at the end of the day, he's going to deserve a due process. So he also mentioned, what about the other side of this? If we take one side, we have to take the other side. So let's say, God forbid, if they do make a statement or do something, and now this family come and say, hey, make a statement for us, they set a precedent. So that's what he was saying, like, we don't want to set a precedent, and that's why that word is coming up. But here's the thing. The reason why I'm continuously and repeatedly asking for a town hall meeting and referencing the ICE situation is because they already set a precedent
Right.
for a population of if we calling it underserved, if we call it underrepresented, if we're calling it the new American community, the migrant community, whatever we're calling it, to not be disrespectful, they set a precedent to show that we can show some type of compassion and care and concern for human life of somebody who doesn't look like or come from the lives that we come from, to show that we can gain a better understanding of what's going on with them so that we can help them. So when I seen
Mm-hmm.
that, again, if we rewind back to the email I sent to Jim Renarski before even the cello situation, I saw that and was like, oh my
Right.
God, this was amazing. I want this for my people too. You know what I mean? Like, let's host an event in a place where all of these people who've never experienced these problems will come and say, hey, what can I do to get involved? How can I help? So as I'm asking for this, it's kind of like, oh,
Right.
we don't want to help. We don't want to help our community, the people who live here, who can thrive here. We want to help the people who should be or may not be here, who trying to come and root here, not the people who are already rooted in here. We don't want to pour into those people.
Mm-hmm.
So you take it as an insult. You know what I mean? To rewind back to that, you know what I mean? As far as like me asking and reaching out, saying, hey, can we have a conversation about us in the fashion that y'all do this? Because they can't make a decision for us as a collective. It would be frowned upon. We understand that. But two of them,
Mm-hmm.
three of them, for what Rock told me, three of them can host something to where it's not official county council business. We are just trying to lean on and rely on them as elected
Right.
officials to host some things to where we can get some professional opinions or some live opinions, or you know what I mean, something to the sense of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So then so what they try to
Mm-hmm.
do is, that's where I was going to clump everybody together to make it a whole decision. So if they couldn't make it a whole decision, then nobody had to make a decision. I don't want them to go on record or public
Right.
resolution and all of that saying, yes, we care. We know Cello died. We know Cello got shot and killed. We know it was parole agents allegedly. We don't need them to come tell us that. Like, that's when it's like y'all playing with us. Like, oh, y'all just want to, we done came down here all these weeks and all y'all thought we said was publish that Cello got shot and killed and be patient. Like, so y'all wanted to write what Elizabeth Hurts wrote, pretty much. Again, like, stop it.
Right. Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this: total sense to me. This sales finance, a public, and there's a camera there, and we are able to see footage. Why was meeting such a mess that knowing that the meeting can even get out there for us to see this entire debacle as well?
You want to know my honest answer to that?
Absolutely.
They think that we ignorant. So, because again,
Yeah.
if you rewind it,
Yep.
Rock says,
Yep.
I know this
Yep.
is out of order. Andre says, and I'm going to ask that it go on. So they let it go on. So first and foremost, you already broke the rules and made it seem like you breaking the rules for us, right? So then when you give this big,
Right.
hey, here's this great thing that we're going to do for, they said, and this was the thing, they said the Justice for Cello Coalition, Andre said the Justice for Cello Coalition, Justice for Cello Movement, or, you know, whoever, all of them, they've been coming out here throwing fastball. That whatever they mentioned, that part right
Yeah.
there was not a part of the finance meeting. There was no money being discussed. So they said that, and he said he was out of order. So it was them two thinking, okay, boom, we finna try to, because we know they coming down. Now, this is just my interpretation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Luther.
boom, we got a power one. We finna kill him with this one. That's what they was thinking. And so that's what that little portion was, the little mic drop, John, you know? So that when they presented it, if you look at the screens, anytime, so like, this is what I love about them Zoom meetings too. I learned that when they had a little Joan in the middle of the room, anytime you make a noise, you can sneeze. The camera's it's the camera and like a little joint. It look like a microphone on the table. It's gonna pick you up. So as they're explaining, as Rock reading the letter, the camera's so crazy. You can see the other ones. Terry Scatella in the chair, like, You know what I mean? Charlie Bell, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what kind of. I didn't catch Jim Renarski because Andre would cough or something, so the camera would go back to him. And then like Tom Tallarico, he was sitting there so patient, like he patiently waiting to ask his questions because,
Yeah.
and as he asking, you can see the looks on their face to where it's like, what about their resolution? They wrote one. Did y'all see theirs? Like he pretty much like, I don't represent, I don't care what they said. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like
Right.
they that I think that they did that on in that manner because they thought it was a good idea. So I'm not sure if it was ignorance on our behalf or ignorance on their behalf for not realizing
Mhm.
how bad of an idea that was. But it just honestly, it was
Yeah.
reassuring for me for an attorney to be in that room and to have or to share my same sentiments and me not be an attorney to where it wouldn't have seemed like, oh, here he go again. You can't give him nothing. He
Mhm.
only at this point, does he know what he wants or is he just running his mouth? Because had I been the only person who would have interpreted like that,
Right.
people would have been like, yo, now you just starting trouble. Because I was reading some of this stuff on Facebook and I seen a lot of people had mixed messages as far as what they thought they saw. And you know, you can't tell anybody what they saw and what they didn't see. So that's by no means am I trying to
Right.
credit or disregard anybody for what they saw. But as far as like my interpretation of my understanding
Mhm.
and I guess intellect, I heard the exact same thing, and that's why I ain't take notes for none of them meetings or none of that yet. I would listen to him, but when I heard him asking them questions, I'm like, Birdman on him, yeah, because it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it. I watched your remarks again. I watched Malcolm's remarks again, and I picked up the same thing. The high bar thing was ridiculous, and the fact that was on camera, very very disrespectful to us. And the other two words were finances and policies. And so whole thing and seeing how that all went down, listener jump in like he resolution and try to amend it and take out some key words and just have Marcello's name at the top. And it's he's like, well, what are you saying? What are you saying in this? And it was just a confusing meeting for me to kind of follow. And then from your remarks, I saw that it did not make the agenda, which was a good thing, right?
Absolutely. But the thing is, I think they tabled it. They were asking to add it to, so when they mentioned
Okay.
that might have been the next week's agenda, because then even after we all spoke, so I ended up leaving. Like I never, they stayed for the
Yeah.
comments this time, but I never stayed for the comments. But I make sure I wait for Shamir and Shamil to leave. You know what I mean? So I stayed outside on the steps. So I'm out there, I'm watching on my phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I believe I could be wrong because I wasn't in the room, but I believe when they got to that one, it was one of I might got the agenda right. But it was one of the resolutions or one of new business. I'm not sure which one it is, but I do believe that they was talking about doing something. And he was like, well, you know, I guess we gonna ask the table that. So they moved on to another one because while they was on the other one, they asked any discussion. Andre spoke again, like, well, you know, I just want to say something to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, oh yeah, no. And he was talking a little bit. And they was like, oh yeah, no, we moved on. We decided to table that one. I'm not 100% sure if they were going to present that or not, but it's not a good idea. I mean, it's a good idea that they didn't present it because, I mean, I don't think that it would have went 7-0. Like everybody would agree to have that to
Mm-hmm.
be in a resolution, the next agenda. And what it would have done ultimately is just made the people
Right.
look bad who were put on this who disagree because the people who said it are our people, you know, registered Democrats. They care for Cello, and they're pretty much would have been like, well, hey, we said we wanted to put the letter out, and they said no, and they would have kind of tried to like piggyback off of or echo what happened down at the city council. So you know what I mean? I'm glad that it did not
Right.
get it on there because I don't think that would have went 7-0. I couldn't even get 7-0, and I ain't did nothing wrong to nobody. You know what I mean? I couldn't even get a 7-0.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? So
That's true.
they don't really agree too much on things. So yeah, it's a good thing that it did not make the agenda because it would have looked bad to have anybody have to say no to Justice for Cello just because they was trying to take advantage of a hot ticket item and step over a low bar that we didn't. I guess we didn't raise the bar high enough to make them uncomfortable to where they felt like, well, if we write his name at the top of the paper, and then we can write, oh, you know what I mean? It was kind of like
Right.
you don't read the fine print, like, oh, look, it's my favorite brand up here. So you don't read everything that it's going to do to kill you. I mean, you just see the, right? It was like, if we give him Will Pacello's name in bold. Matter of fact, let's emboss it in the paper and write it in gold. And then everything underneath it will say, this isn't our
Yeah.
job. This isn't our subject. You know what I mean? Like, at the top, they were like, yeah, we sympathize with Justice for Cello.
Yeah.
But by no means do we have any business to do with this because we do finances, we do policies. We don't do anything else to help you guys. We're not going to help you guys. And we want you to be patient, like they're telling you to be patient. You know what I mean? Like, just put Cello name on the top and make it beautiful. My allergies is killing me, man.
Right. She
But
types.
yeah, man.
She
So
types
that's
on here.
what I heard.
What's ironic is it in the finance meeting. The finance meeting also is what prevented them from being able to add it to the agenda because they were out of order. Like, do you think that was something they did specifically for that too?
No, no, no. So they knew they were out of order, and Rock Copeland is the chair of the finance committee. So he was the person who called himself out of order and then continued to carry on. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like the other people in there would be like out of. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody probably could have called it out of order, but the finance chair is pretty much like Andre wanted to speak to something because he's the first one that said, "Hey," he started off. They've been coming. He said they've been coming out here passing, throwing fastballs at us. You feel me? Then Rock, as a chair, said we're out of order. Andre said, "I'm asked that we go on." Rock pulled out this draft and he read the draft. It's like, so I'm not
Yeah.
exactly, I've never been to a finance committee meeting to know if those are the type of conversations that they have or those are the things that they discuss. But so it's allowed to happen if he asks for permission. So by no means am I saying they broke the rules. But it was one of them times where, like, you know, they be like, oh,
Okay.
he thought he ate. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of them moments to where it's like, okay, yeah, watch this, y'all. I'm gonna shoot this free throw with my eyes closed. And you feel me? It was just one of them bonehead moments to where they thought they
Yeah.
did something. And again, I'm thankful again for, and I know it's some situations with that solicitor people, like, but I'm thankful that he was in that room at that moment because if not, I honestly truly believe that a lot of people would have felt like that was a good move and they would have put that out there and we would have not had any of that evidence to be like, y'all was warned to not do this before y'all did this.
Right. Yeah. Can you tell me about the meeting last night? What else stood out to you? I know the set of remarks there. How was the crowd? How did it look? Has it been consistent over the last couple weeks since it's diminished a bit, but the same crew keeps coming down and speaking on behalf of Cello?
Absolutely. I mean, as far as consistency, it's been consistently a group of at least like 8 people. You know what I mean? It's been consistently,
Okay.
it's not a crowd.
Okay.
You know, the crowd started off huge. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Then on certain
Yeah.
days, it gets smaller.
Yeah.
Bro. So it seems like, honestly, I want to say it's a good group of like 8 to 20, but you know for a fact, no matter what, at least there are 8 people who are going to be there. And when I say going to be there, that are going to speak. Because then there are also some other people who just come, who
Yeah.
just show up to listen, who just be there to clap, you know what I mean? Or just be there to support as well.
Yeah.
So it's always, and then I've been to plenty of those meetings in the past, so it's never as uncomfortable as it was before in the past. I've been to spoke at those meetings and like you turn around, it's like, man, these people don't care what you talking about because it ain't their problem. And then it's also again like more people are having more courage to go to the meeting. More people are having more courage to go speak at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like the energy and the way it's going, like I just wish. I mean, I'm loving that it's growing. You know what I mean? I know it's different time constraints for different people, but it's a consistent group of people who always gonna show up. Like, I'm gonna be there. Malcolm gonna be there. either Terry or Jerry, because they be having different stuff. They was there, Shamir, Shamel, Cindy, um, Michelle, and then it's just I don't even want to. It's this other older lady. She usually come with Miss Cynthia. They usually be there in the back, chilling, to where you just know like they Miss Mabel, she gonna be there. Like it's always gonna be a group. Like no matter where, it's gonna be at least 8 people. And then what's crazy is like they be trickling in. Like as somebody's talking. I know every person who been there who get up at the microphone to talk. Like you can just watch the power grow. Like as people trickle in. Like, oh, you feel the power, and then you say a word or something, turn around, and you like, oh, the crew here. So, I mean, as far as like people showing up, people being there, it's definitely a consistent group of people who like, no matter what, is gonna show up and gonna have something to say. If it's 3 minutes from taking the 3 and stretching to 5, or taking the 5 minutes and stretching to 7, like, and then they know it too. They know how we coming, because then it'd be like anybody to speak to the public. And then, when we be getting up, they be like, they be keeping their game face on when we talking sometimes. But I already know when I get up, like, they be talking. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I get tired of myself sometimes. So I know them people get tired of me. Like, every times I tell myself to shut up. You feel me? So I know they get tired of me. But it's like, at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. And then if I can go and listen to you and quote you, and now this is public. And that's why I be telling people to come down and speak. Because now it's public information, and it's documented, and it's record, and it's now factual. This is factual. You said these things on this day at this time in front of these people. I can find it. I can track it. I can record it. I can play it back to you. And I can stand on, as long as I make sure I write it verbatim and quote you and cite you and credit you for your words. These are your words that you said at a public forum that I'm privileged to because I'm a citizen who lives here. And that's what he was trying to tell them.
Yeah.
Wait, guys, we probably shouldn't be having this conversation here, because this is one of them times, and this is one of the rooms where there's microphones and cameras everywhere. And he said, you got to treat us different. When we say something, people look at it differently. So when you have a man in the room acknowledge you with that, like, I know I ain't crazy, and that's what I want everybody to understand. So, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, we definitely be
right.
We be in there deep in stress. So now it's getting to the point, like, to where I want more people to show up so that they can see this type of stuff for themselves, because now people are like, oh, I can't hear the video that you posted. Or, you get a lot of people reaching out to you like, oh, bro, you killed them, but you should have said this. Or if I was there, I would have said that. And it'd be like, yeah, that's good insight, but it's too late now. But it's like once one person speaks and you hear a couple speaking points, you can be like, oh, yeah, I'm finna go pick up on that. So I wish more people would come, you know what I mean? Because, like, make them more comfortable. You see, they said we coming down there with fastballs. The one night we was in there until like 9 o'clock. Like, I don't know who got what to do on what days, but even if we can make a calendar and make sure that we keep that segment open, as long as there's another person to come up every 3 minutes, we can break that joint down in slots from 6 to 7, 3-minute intervals. Make sure you're in the cross by 6:15, because your speech at 6:18. I mean, whatever we got to do, but, like, yeah, because when you hear certain people say something, you be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, that's a good point. Or, oh, he should have said this. Let me get up now and go. So, you know what I mean? It's a consistent, like I said, it's a consistent group of like 8 of us. We know each other going to be there. We know who's showing up. We would love to see more people. But at the end of the day, we know them 8 going to be there. We know who going to speak. And we know who going to be in the background with they. Yeah, y'all, good job. You know what I mean? And then it's even like, it be certain times where it's just hoot and holler. But this is another thing what I've learned too, right? Because it be different people there listening for different reasons. That has nothing to do with cello. And then they be like, I had no idea. Oh my God, you guys did a great job. Or I'm so sorry to hear about this. Or wow, this is the stuff I've been seeing on the news. So that's why I think it's good that we keep going too. When we talk about telling people to use their voice and make noise, we're using our voice and we're making noise, and we're gaining traction from people that we don't even know. Even at, like, it was a group of people of Chinese descent there, and they was pitching something for their family or their community of Chinese descent. So they sat there and listened through. It was the mayor of Girard, I believe. He was in there. He said something to me after the fact. So even that is getting to the point now, like, the more that we speak is growing to where it ain't just us no more. And then when I came outside, the people with the Just for Cello signs, They stayed out there the whole time until the meeting was over. To like what time did they leave you there? Like 7:30 maybe, 7:30.
Yeah, yeah, about that. My wife is telling me we're getting major feedback from my microphone, I guess, and you and I knew this already, so I'm gonna try to keep this a little short. But it's funny because they're saying, "Hey, you got a good job." We had a lot of practice. We've been at this for 84 days now. You know what I mean? 84 days we've been at this thing. So yeah, we got a lot of practice at what we're doing and what we're saying and everything. So they definitely get it. I'm gonna wrap this up because of the technical difficulties we're having. I appreciate you holding the show here. But I want to come back to you, Deontay. Any parting words? You know how I do. Parting words for people, and what do we see next? Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, no, I said yeah, I said your feedback. I do. I had to wait for it to also out, but I'm reading some of the comments now. I'm gonna read some of these comments before you sign off, so I ain't gotta go back live on here. But yeah, she said I was dying when you told him that you. Yeah, I definitely kept track of who went over their time. I still got it written down. Like I got all my little notes right here. 25 seconds, 10 seconds, 25 seconds. I was adding up time because I was long winded because then it was like you can't you can't you can't sum all it up in 3 minutes, and then it wasn't enough time for me to request more than 3 minutes. And I don't be wanting to go in there with no script or nothing like that, but it was definitely
Right.
necessary for me to kind of but as far as like parting things or what's next, like of course we're gonna go to the city council. It's 1 in the morning though, so I'm not exactly sure who I can get to the A and when, but we're gonna make sure that we have some type of representation there.
Yeah.
I know that Michael this Saturday
Hmm.
is the Unity and Community March that's gonna be happening going on. I seen
Oh
Snowy
yeah.
had posted a few things on her Facebook page as well. So we just gonna keep register. Voter
Yeah. For
registration
her brother.
closes. We got to make sure we get people registered to vote. It's campaign season. I will say that. Like, I'm starting to see yard signs now. I'm starting to see,
Yeah.
swag, t-shirts, the buttons, and all of that. Everybody's soliciting these things. So, yeah, it's time for us to really get active. To make sure we keep it going, keep it buzzing. Yeah, they had the protests. I had that protest outside the brewery. I wasn't there for that, but they said that the upcoming
Yeah.
running mayor was there, like, and then she came out and spoke about that. So
Campaigning.
yeah, so it's let's keep it going. So I think
Hmm.
somebody posted them. Well, I don't know if it disappeared or something, but they said like somebody at America's Got Talent had a Justice for Cello sign up in the background. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if that went away or
Really?
if I was tripping, but yeah, I think somebody posted. Let me check. I think somebody had
Oh
posted that on
wow.
my wall. How you get the notification where it say somebody tried to, and then it go away. I don't be knowing how to find it, but I think I
Yeah.
saw that. Um,
Wow. That's pretty big. Wonder who that was. That was.
yeah, I
Huh.
don't, yeah, but so yeah, the goal is to just keep it moving, man, because like we got to continue to make noise and let people know that we ain't going nowhere. Because what's going to end up happening is they're gonna try to sweep it under the rug. And when I say sweep it under the rug, I don't mean like just walk
Yeah.
away, but it's gonna more or less be like, okay, whatever happens, we don't have to address anybody or hurt anybody's feelings or and like no, everybody wants some type of answers and justice again does not just look like an arrest. Like there's people out here asking for change, there's people out here begging for change, there's people out here trying to put themselves in positions to win. There's people in here trying to put themselves in a position to
Yeah.
thrive or even people trying to get out the struggle, like trying to make it through life. And there are people in positions who can afford those resources or those opportunities who aren't stepping up to do those things. So, like at this point, like we might as well continue to make noise until we can't make noise no more. Until everybody feel like their life is better. And then as our lives get better and as our lives grow, we need to be continuing to help one another and build however it is that we have to build. So that's what justice is gonna look like. Like we all can't be called coming together just for an arrest and then we all go back to struggling. Like, because we know if Cholo was alive, like he
Yeah.
wouldn't be out here just living his life to struggle. So you know what I mean? Like we can't be using his name in vain just
Right.
to feel like, oh, we hate the police or oh, we hate the system. Like we got to be looking at this like, okay, this is our opportunity to make sure that life is right for all of us, whatever that looks like, and how can we collectively come together to either make that make sense or make figure out a way for us to coexist. You know what I mean? Because it's just crazy. You know what I mean? It's just crazy that like all of this is going on, and then you
Yeah.
got people who in positions of power, positions of authority, who act like the best thing that they can do is send a letter or a resolution that isn't saying anything. You know what I mean? So they get to a point to where yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
don't want no letters. You know what I mean? We don't want no rules. Like we want change. And when we say we want change, we want people who aspire to win to be assisted with winning, put in positions to win. So then even like the whole no vote. Like one person told me that he voted no because he felt like I wasn't a good candidate because I wasn't ready or I wasn't prepared. As opposed to, and I've already wrote this down a couple of different times, as opposed to him being like, well, hey, let me mentor Deontay. I'm gonna reach out because he has reached out to me. When all this, when Justice for Cello and stuff like he reached, hey, anything I can do to help you, let me know. So like, as opposed to being the only person that says no or saying no without any explanation because they ask any conversation, they said he said no because he feels like I'm not fit for the job or whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that I'm the best man for the job, but I know I'm not the dumbest man in the world. You know what I mean? So if that's how you feel
Right.
about me and you
Yeah.
want to feel like you know what I'm about to want to help me on any level, why not help me when there's an opportunity for me to be better and for me to promote change as opposed to being one of, and I heard other people wanted to say no, but you know what I mean? Like, so do you really want to help or are you sitting up there and you taking things personal because you don't like who says what or I hurt your feelings? Because again, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
receive an explanation. He doesn't owe me any explanation, but that was just kind of strange to me to be so strong in your no and to be so sound in your no, but then not to be like,
Yeah.
well, hey, I don't think so because of X, Y, and Z, or hey, Deontay, I see that your name's on the agenda. You get because the appointment came from Britton Davis, the county executive. So that's the only reason I can think is
Yeah.
either no because of where the appointment came from, or if it was no because you truly
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I can accomplish the job. But if you got six other people who are gonna say yes, to me it would make more sense to be like, yo, let me help him because I think he's lacking in this area because of X, Y, and Z. So now I can teach him or I can show him. Here's my opportunity to show change, and this is what I can give, as opposed to me saying I don't know what to do. I will say the
Right.
best thing,
Right.
the word. I mean, I ain't gonna say it wasn't a good thing to try to stand in my way because you didn't think that I understood when you could have came alongside me and helped me. Because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna have to lean on him for support
Mm-hmm.
because you are a county council person. So that's
Yep.
where you got to take away politics from being a public servant because you shouldn't be taking anything personal for people coming to speak their mind at a place in a space where they are allowed to and they are afforded to. And it is either fortunately or unfortunately your job to hear them. But then when they have an opportunity to grow and have an opportunity to hold a position that can open doors for others, that's when I would think, mold,
Right.
mentor, teach, pour into, whatever adjectives or terminology we gonna use to make sure that that person can be the best fit, as opposed to no. But again, that's everybody's different. So if it was me and I felt like, hey, I'm in a
Yeah.
room where everybody finna vote somebody on anyway, let me take you under your wing and let me show you what you need to know to do the job the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agrry. And
Oh my
and
God, I didn't say that.
his no
No
was hard no. It was a
I
hard
didn't
no, and
say
I didn't
that.
appreciate it. I could you're Luther though. Oh man. But listen, man, I wish you the best of luck. You're gonna do a fantastic job, as you know. And I appreciate you joining me tonight. And got a lot going on, a lot coming up. We're moving pretty close to being 90 days out. Today's day 84 for Justice Ficello, and we're anywhere. I see Shamel was watching tonight. Shamel was watching. She's been everywhere. She's been at the protests. She's been at the county council. She's been at the city council. She's been on watching the podcast. She's part of it, and she knows we support her. Knows we support her too. So Shamel, we're thinking about you, and obviously thinking about the family as well. We appreciate you all joining us tonight for episode 35 of Etcetera with the Woodard on YouTube. And subscribe, share, like, do all that fun stuff. Me and Deontay are here just about twice a week, and we'll be back Sunday night at about 15 to have kind of another update and to tell you what's going on next. For Deontay Cooley, I'm Craig Woodard Sr. Good night and enjoy.